Okay.
Eric, you're muted.
Perfect. Yep, I'm good now. There we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome our alumni community and our executive team for this conversation regarding our Open Centers of Excellence and our 200 Changemakers campaign that the university launched. Dear alumni community, we've met before, we've spoken before via online or in person, but I'm Nadek. I'm the Communications and Alumni Relations Director here at AUA. And again, it's my absolute pleasure to kind of host you guys for this very important dialogue with our President, Dr. Markides, and our Interim Provost, Dr. Ellison. Unlike the other webinars we've been hosting in the past a year almost now, we would like to make this into a conversation, so please feel free to turn your cameras on. We'll be happy to see some of your faces or all of your faces as we kind of carry this conversation. But please do stay muted so that we could, you know, have allow Dr. Markides and Brian to kind of do their presentations. I am going to record this session because we will have some alumni that will be missing this important talk, so we would like to share the recordings with them also. So with that in mind, I'm just going to do a very quick welcome, and before we give the floor to Dr. Markides and to Brian, just, you know, since we have this opportunity to have our alumni body with us, we once again would like to remind you of the great benefits that AUA offers for you guys. So please continue being engaged with our open education. You guys know we offer 33% discounts to our alumni for all of our open education courses. We have specific alumni for specific discounts for your kids if they're trying to, you know, take some English language classes or get ready for test preparatory. So we constantly keep updating you guys with all of the discounts that we have for we offer. We offer you guys gym memberships. So, you know, we sent out an email reminder yesterday. If you're interested in joining multi-wellness, just let us know so we could keep that in mind. We offer different discounts for you guys at different restaurants. And of course, the free access to our library, which is open even during COVID with limited number of seats. So if you are interested of coming to the library, we are open. You just need to pre-register, and you could visit their website to register and come over and, you know, hang out at the library or borrow a book or whatever. We are working on, coming soon, we are working on the Alumni Audit Program. This has been something we've been talking about for a while. So we're very excited to launch this, hopefully in September. We'll allow our alumni to audit some of those courses and get back into the university campus for different courses that might be interested to them. And of course, we're working on other benefit packages for you guys. Just of course, as a constant reminder to continue keeping in touch with your alma mater. We're here to serve you, to keep the connection with the university. So stay connected with us. We are doing data updates. So a lot of you have received calls or emails from Narine or someone from our team. So so thank you for updating your info, continue staying engaged with us, check your emails, participate in our webinars, and if there's anything that we as an alumni office could do for you, just let us know. We're always, you know, here to work with you. So we're gathered here today to talk about our Open Centers of Excellence that has been recently launched, and our Changemakers campaign that has been recently launched as well too, that kind of funds the operation and the establishment of our Open Centers of Excellence. So Dr. Markides and Dr. Ellison will talk about that a little bit further, but I just wanted to do a little look into what the bridge looks like. Our wonderful bridge has been remodeled. This is kind of what it looks like. If you're in Armenia, stop by, take a look at it. We have two of our alumni already, alumni class and an individual alumni, our alumni Ani, already up on the wall, which is very exciting to see. So this is what kind of our bridge looks like. What else do I have here? Yeah, that's okay. That's it. That was quick. So this is our contact info at the Office of Alumni Relations. So if you have any questions, concerns, here is our contact info, and make sure to follow us on Facebook as well. With that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And Dr. Markides, the floor is yours. Let's get into the conversation of our Open Centers of Excellence.
Thank you so much, and thanks everybody for coming on to this webinar. I'm honored and happy to be talking with you today, and I hope that we can share different views that we have, because we do have different views. You are actually you have the secret of the culture of AUA, of course, since you have studied here, and I come here with the input to discuss with you about the strategy and the next step and what's happening at the university. So as alumni, I always very much enjoy to connect with alumni in very different ways, and I think it is, as I alluded to, a very mutual way of working together going forward. And I think it's natural for alumni to connect to the class, of course, that you had, that you come from, and also to the college. But it is not that natural to connect to the university all the time, maybe, because you didn't have that particular institutional connection, of course, when you studied. I think, though, that it is very important, and we are working with it from an institutional level, to really show you that it is, at this point, not to take away the connection with the class and the college, no, not at all. But in addition, I think it is a very important additional value for you to also connect with the possibilities, offers, and what we can come up with together on the institutional level. And especially these days when universities are developing a different kind of role in society. Before, as you know, it was very much connected to that you went into a discipline and you became an expert in a professional or a disciplinary expert. But today and going forward, we know that because of many different things, mainly because the society needs it. You need to be able to collaborate from different expertise together to solve real problems. And also that there are some disruptive knowledge that goes across, like, of course, digitalization, but also energy, materials, and so forth, are changing all the different disciplines. So there are many reasons why we also at the university level are finding ways that we can connect and help students to, in addition to be experts in a field and understand, to solve and to look at the world from a different scientific or disciplinary perspective, also to help students to get ready to be leaders and to be able to make people to meet and solve problems in society. So that is, and of course also to be creative, agile, and entrepreneurial, depends on the personal preferences, of course, of the students, and to help the students to find what preferences they have. So in that way, we are, universities all over the world are looking for the new role of universities in the coming decades, I would say. And so are we. And of course at AUA, as you know, we are a small university, we're a broad university, and we have some unique features. And we try now to see how we can make these unique features to be also even more unique as a university in a global perspective. And so, and of course, this possibility that we are connected out in all the provinces in the country and beyond, it means that we can actually connect to the private and public sector and work with solutions of the problems that they can see and identify in the different marses, if you want. So, and that also require then that the faculty and the students have, of course, a possibility to look at these challenges and these that need solutions, and work together across the university between the colleges. And so, so how should that be possible then? I mean, we have to, there are different ways to solve this, and we have tried to solve it the Armenian way. that would be very good for Armenia to work in this particular way, so that we can be also attractive to get both students and faculty come from all different parts of the world to really want to be part of this journey that we are launching. So what we have done is that we created these 6 centers of excellence, but they are not centers like traditional ones, but like islands of expertise and focus. They are on a little higher strategic level. So they are open centers that really is there to become intersections between diversities. And this means that they can live longer, and they can actually be part of transforming the university, and also help the students to get another different possibility to work with other disciplines and solve questions that we work on. And it also opens up for possibilities to collaborate with the surrounding society in a very different way than what was used before. We take a position in society, yes, but that is expected of us, and especially in Armenia, and especially for AUA, it is expected that we actually take a role in the society to help develop the country. And we're very happy to do so. And I think that here we have a fantastic opportunity for you as alumni, and all different ages of alumni. You can come and interact and integrate with us with the students, with the faculty, with the public-private meeting places out in the provinces in different fashions. And maybe when you later maybe come back to Armenia and retire in Armenia, you can be a mentor in different forms for us also, and for the next generation of leaders that we are teaching at AUA. So I also want to say that when we look at these possibilities, we have these 6 centers, and the 6 centers, I can just briefly say what they are so that we remind ourselves. This one first obvious center that was identified was the artificial intelligence solutions. So of course we don't have very strong research environments. We are a small university, but we have strong artificial intelligence in the Science Engineering College. And this means that we can look at challenges, and the AI solutions to the challenges is something we can handle together with others. And so AI solutions is one of the areas. And as an example of something that happens there is a development of drone technology for a lot of different uses, both in environmentally, but also in AI and security and agriculture and so forth. And so that you can see how it works and develops the needs in the country. And there could be other examples too, of course. If we look at the next center, Ecoppian Center is of course a center we had for a long time, and that they are very successful in collaborating, not the least in European projects. And they are connecting to environmental problems all over the place. And now waste management is a recent addition to their focus. And that next one is leadership and governance. And that is something that is really also very much wanted in Armenia to develop, to really be able to become this type of leaders that can also make a change in society. Transformational health solution is another center, and of course that fits very well for the College of Public Health, but also when they collaborate then with other disciplines that we have, and then innovation advancements, so that we are taking a bigger step into the environment, the entrepreneurial and innovation environment, And here we have, of course, contributions from all colleges on campus. Then we have one, the last sixth ones is systems thinking. System thinking is something that I think fits very well for the Armenian landscape when we educate the students to be able to really be prepared with skills that really is the country is needing in all different ways. So we talk more about that. You can ask about it more. But all these centers, they also to connect them out in the regions, or then we have, of course, a connection to the previous word that you know that we had in English and language training. Now that has been developed further in open education that delivers a lot of different possibilities to collaborate with the public and private and civic society in the whole country. So, so this setup also allow us to move forward with lifelong learning possibilities much more than before. We can also invite and work with students that come from our neighboring countries to develop human rights values and so forth. So there are many variations of complexities that we can handle from these centers. We can also move into PhD programs through these centers because we can work in collaboration with actors that have actually have some critical mass, I can say, to help us to get into that. Not the least the central bank that already we are working with and so forth. So that is the setup that we have right now, and we can talk more about this and how the faculty and the students from the different colleges actually can use these centers as a playground for them to add value and add possibilities to work on solution, to work together. Still the colleges are holding on to their disciplines and may become the best that they can in the disciplines. The students and the programs, educational programs, are still connected to the colleges. So you can see the open centers as an extra dimension that everybody can utilize and benefit from. So then, yeah, like Narek said, we have launched this Changemakers campaign because we felt already from the beginning that this was a very attractive possibility to engage in different ways from our friends and alumni around the world. And so that is a possibility to really support these added values here that we have in this horizontal domain that we're talking about. So yes, I hope that made it a little bit clear on what we have, how we have set the scene for the university. And to make this all operational, we are also changing the strategic process in the university. So now the strategic process is very much built on a proactive bottom-up process that starts with the input from everybody in the university to set up their vision on how they can contribute in the education, in research and outreach, and also for the environment that we have at AUA. So that is done starts every fall to do that for the coming year. So we are proactive. We are a whole year before action goes on, and because we do that, we can also have a dialogue then about this strategy with the executive team. So we also build a coherent plan for the university, and we do that about time of January, and that means that we can take this plan into the budget process. And that is about now, and we just have the new budget set for the coming year. And by that, we were able to actually implement some new possibilities at AUA in the coming year, like a new program for assistant professors that will come and start their work to work in the open centers. So we really, we were able to really get a kickstart on that, and we are going to add also possibilities for some more research for our actual faculty. And these open centers are perfect platforms for doing that, and for doing it in a way that it will also connect to sustainability, of course, but also to the need of the country to become prosperous. So I hope that it makes sense, and I hope that we all can help this next generation of students to become good leaders, to really take Armenia to a next level, to be attractive, so that we can learn how to do export, how to build companies that are actually also making the different parts of Armenia to prosper, and to get the diversity attractive also for tourism and other things. So thank you for listening to that. I'm looking forward to your questions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Markides, for that really in-depth intro to the Open Centers of Excellence. Let's Brian, I want to allow you to kind of elaborate a little bit and kind of talk about, you, besides interim provost, you also carry the responsibility of leading one of those centers. So perhaps you could talk about some of the activities or the function areas within your center, and then we'll open up the floor to our alumni community to start asking us some questions.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'd like to welcome you to our event here at AUA. It's so nice to see you in attendance, and I hope you can glean some important information here. So before I begin, because there's so much information that our beloved president provided, maybe I could provide any kind of clarification before I move forward. If someone needs a clarification, if not, I can dive into some of the ways that these open centers work. Okay, so we have these 6 open centers of excellence, which were not inorganically created. I would like to add that they reflect certain competencies at the institution, and in some contexts, like systems thinking, they reflect aspirations at the institution, and some of them are very well developed because we evolved them into open centers, and some of them remained in more conceptual stages, though we have specific plans for each one of these, and they're these function areas. So the way these open centers work is they reflect broad areas of activity within the institution. And if you look at something like the EPIC, the Open Center of Excellence for Innovation Advancement, we have function areas within that open center, which you might think of as a window on the university, that these are window presentations on the university, like our startup incubator, which is a traditional project or program that we've had at AUA, and the EPIC prototype lab. But then it evolves into other functions that go to this broad concept of innovation advancement. It's also very important that we recognize that functions, activities at the university, which we call function areas, which are largely housed in our traditional vertical units, colleges and departments, can be in multiple places. So different activities, for example, in my center, which is called the Center for Leadership and Governance, which is about the development of political, social, economic leadership in the country, might find similar functions in our Open Center for Systems Thinking, Open Center of Excellence for Systems Thinking, or even our Open Center for Innovation Advancement. It depends on how those get lifted. And so these are showcases for the world to look in at AUA and see within these broad categories the amazing array of work that we're doing within them. So in the center, Open Center for Leadership and Governance, please forgive me. recently recovered from pneumonia, and I still have a little bit of a cough, though I'm perfectly fine. You know, the idea of that open center is to showcase activities at the institution that go to political, economic, and social development in the broad context of leadership and governance. I use the term governance. We also use the term university public-private partnership to talk about how the different sectors of, how the different economic sectors come together to create solutions to complex problems in Armenian society. So within that open center, there are function areas like leadership and school systems, a hopeful media center, which we hope to get a grant for and construct, which is a public diplomacy sort of program. Things as broad as city planning and zoning or agriculture reform, which we're very active in right now, civic education, hotel and hospitality management. We're also very excited about the potential for a new center on regional studies. So there you might think, well, what's the difference between a center, an academic center within a vertical unit, which are colleges and disciplinary units, right? And then the open center. So the Center for Regional Studies would be a traditional place where faculty and students and different stakeholders would come together to engage in study, analysis, funded research, a variety of different activities that would go to the broad question of regional studies. That is the place of Armenia in the Transcaucasian space, also with Turkey and Iran, of course. But that gets lifted into an open center frame so that the world sees within this broad context, you know, one of these specific functional areas that go to that broader concept. So once again, a mechanism to showcase different activities within the institution. Are some of our more traditional centers, for example, the Acopian Center for the Environment, which is extremely ambitious, by the way, you know, has a number of functions that would go both into environment sustainability, environmental protection, policy development, a variety of different activities, along with potentially activities that would go to the broader concept or a broad concept of leadership and governance as well. This is complex, it is interesting, and it is one of the most unique, as a new member of the AUA community, Interim Provost, it is one of the most unique ways I've ever seen in higher education after 25 years of understanding and showcasing the broad activity in a university. And it's really interesting that we have such a relatively small university with 2,000 students and a few hundred faculty, the amazing array of activity that we have and that we have going on in our institution. So that's sort of my brief introduction to this activity, and I hope that answers more questions than it creates. But I think Karin is eager to take your questions at this moment. Thank you, Narek.
Thank you, Brian. So yeah, like if you guys have questions, please feel free to unmute and ask the question, or just write it up in the chat, either to Dr. Ellison or to Dr. Markides, and they'll be happy to answer questions. If you guys have questions about your alumni benefits, I'll be happy to answer. Armajan, what's going on? You have your hands up. What's your question, sir?
Right. I'll lower it because otherwise then I forget. So the word open, I guess, means that it's not just limited to current AUA faculty and students. So I'm going to ask from the perspective of an alum. So how would exactly it work for, say, alums get involved in work of some of these centers? Should they kind of proactively, reach out to people who run these centers? Should they wait and see what's happening? Will somebody reach out to the alums? Basically, practically speaking, how do you see it happening?
Yes, so thank you. Yes, of course, this requires good communication. So that is, of course, something that And it's natural because these are, Narek said, these are show windows, or Brian said that. So these are show windows. So we have so many different activities going on in this show window, in these 6 show windows. And they change over time. That's the whole idea, that we allow the meeting also reflect the change in society, the change in needs. So, and we have also, in order to solve different kinds of problems, of course, we are working with different kinds of, call them tools. So we have an office where we have different a toolbox with different tools that now you can, we have to use them to be able to, collaborate with alumni, for instance. So there you can, for you to understand what's going on and how things are emerging, you can look at it, of course, through the web pages for the centers and see there is always updating what's happening. And what if there is some kind of tool that is developing for a certain area, like an initiative seminar, a type of seminar between actors in a certain area of, say, agriculture, and you're interested in that and you want to participate, it will be possible. It's open to be able to participate in that meeting, where people that don't really know each other, but they know they have the same interest on the challenge. So they will come there, and they can create some new possibilities. So that's one way to get involved. Another way to get involved is, of course, where we have small businesses are created, and we help them to the business leaders to learn English, for instance, and then they can learn some more management and understanding on how to handle export, to work together. And then when they implement these skills into their little company in the village, then of course they need to have mentors. So if you're interested, if you, for instance, come from that region, or you have an interest for the type of topic, they could be in hotels, or it could be different things. Then you could, of course, be a mentor, say that you would like to act as a mentor for this. You could also be take part in design thinking, work with students a little earlier in their development inside of the university, because in the design thinking area, where the students are training their skills of transformable skills, so that they can learn how to transform a mindset. You might be interested in that, from depending on your interest, depending on your background. But I think what is generic here for that I hope that alumni are thinking, because here we identify different challenges that we are working, connecting our skills, both in students and faculty, working on challenges together with people in Armenia that are interested, public and private. And this becomes, of course, a place where there will be emotions. People will have an interest. On top of understanding the knowledge required, you also have a feeling that you would like to work in this area, or for different reasons. And that is what, that connection can really become a very strong, driving force to be able to reach further. I also wanted to say that when several of these centers have the similar interest, it will become an exponential interest, because it's not 1 + 1 is 2. And so if 2 centers have similar interest in agriculture, for instance, and you come from science engineering, and you come from business, you come maybe also from another area, leadership, then it will become 1 + 1 will become 10 at least, because you have so different networks that meet in one intersection. And there it's very interesting to, of course, as an alum, if you have an interest, or if you're part of a company that has an interest, it could be, we have seen already that many companies that have employees that are alumni at AUA, and they participate here in these open centers, also the company wants to contribute. So there could be that kind of interest, because they also want to be part of this. In that way, it is open. So so I hope that answered a little bit. So there are many ways that you can get involved, but the question is, of course, NARIC is very important here because you're in charge of communication. So it has to be very visible what's going on, and so that people easily can find where we are at the time.
And just to add on to that, we are in the process of developing each of the different websites for the different centers. So once those websites are up and running, we're right now in the process of building a template of what would look like across the board for all of the 6 centers. So once the websites are also ready, Arminjan, I think that would be another very good window into the open centers, where you could see all of the different activities and how all of those different function areas are kind of utilized. And if there is interest and there's a connection, you will be able to get connected to the different directors of the centers, or to just to our global local office through our collaboration website. Cool. All right. Other questions from our alumni body?
Magda.
Yeah. Magda.
Hi, Magda Jan. Hi, Jan.
Oh, hi. Hi, Narek. Dr. Markides, thank you for explaining to us. That was very useful, and I think it's an extremely timely initiative that you and AUA has undertaken, given where we are as a country, as a nation, and the need that we have, an enormous need to unite and collaborate and put the effort into making our country stronger. So within that framework, I guess first I'll just make a few small comments for Narek, and then I will ask another question to you, Doctor. Narek, I think it would be probably useful if, as part of your regular communication to us, you keep us informed in a shorter way what is happening in each center or what is upcoming, and because I don't think we would be going to check website on a regular basis, so any kind of the same way you communicate now about the events or something, that's one thing. And the other thing might be useful if you identify the specialist or the need, the expertise that you need within your center or within the programs that you're doing, and you highlight that in your communication. When you send us an email, you say, we're looking for, I don't know, experts in drones, in agriculture, specific agriculture, winery, or we're looking for somebody who has a particular expertise or a network. Because some of us might not possess the expertise in the field, but we might know somebody within that expertise, and we might be able to engage people who are not necessarily AUA alumni or even Armenians. I would see, especially for those of us who live outside of Armenia, we have large networks of people we know who are not Armenians, who might be willing to be engaged in discussions, at least, if not support an active collaboration with the Open Center. So that would help, because then we would know, say, if I do know somebody who knows about solar panels a lot, I might engage that person and into the conversation. So that's in regard to communication. Now, I'd like to ask a question to Dr. Markides. How do we, as probably more experienced alumni, we are at the point in our life where we would like to perhaps continue our education or enhance our knowledge in a way that would be more in line with professional, I don't know, I don't want to call it PhD, but maybe a professional PhD, a structured way of researching and bringing knowledge to the field where we are, um, outside of our normal working pattern. How do we come back to education? How do we structure our thinking in order to create value to our own field through research and possibly through a doctoral piece of work? Is this something that university might be able to help us?
I think I can say that yes, I come myself from Sweden, and we have many different. I worked with this, you know, type of possibilities quite a lot before. So, but now I'm trying to see how could this fit in Armenia, and in fact, the open centers is a very good base for lifelong learning of all different kinds. Lifelong learning for people that also now we see come from, you know, come from Artsakh, and they had to kind of come into Armenia. They have nothing. They don't even know so much any other language. So we have to start from you know, a very basic kind of. Then we can utilize open education to help them to come in and get some, you know, believe in themselves, and then they can come into a certificate, something like that. But people that are in working from abroad, and maybe they are in working in an industry, and they took a master at some time, but now they want to kind of you know, go further. And of course, in the United States, it's quite hard. If you work in an industry, you're not really allowed to take a PhD. There are no mechanisms really to take a PhD in the industry. But that is not true in Europe, because in Europe you have programs that are industrial doctorate programs, and I worked a lot with that. So we are now trying to implement actually between AUA and some industries in California that, you know, there are many industries that have their base in California, but they bought up some nice small company in Armenia. So they have a lot of Armenians working. So we try to see now if we can make these industries to understand the benefit of this, because it's a huge benefit for the industry also to, while their employees are working, that they can release them from work to they can be part of an industrial doctorate program where we are working in collaboration. And that has shown to be fantastic for everybody involved, fantastic possibilities. So we are now, as soon as we have, say, if we have 5 companies have signed up, then we can do it, we can start. So now I'm working on 2 companies to get to that. So if we're in the best of worlds, in a year from now, I hope that we will have that possibility. And of course, if we can show that this is working, then I think it will be much easier to get more possibilities. We're working now with companies that are connected to science engineering, because they are, of course, the ones that are closest to connection between research, and they have a lot of good research internal also, so we can have supervisors from in team from industry and university, and that is actually a very good model. So, but of course, as I said also before, we have collaboration with central bank, and that's not really an industry, but it's they have a strong interest in macroeconomic area to develop PhD programs. So now we're trying to see how there is more. A question for us is more to help them to find an environment, a research environment that is rich enough that we can start this program in collaboration, in that case, with small countries, that because Armenia is a small country, we have to kind of collaborate with countries in macroeconomic area that also have the same kind of challenges. So maybe Iceland and Finland and Letland, Latvia, these kind of countries, you know, that and there's a lot of interest. So we are trying to see if we could get good collaboration with countries that have similar situation, and also that we have a strong collaborator in the central bank in Armenia, and a beautiful environment in Diligent. So how can you resist that?
Mm-hmm. Arminjan?
Maybe you can give the question to Arush because she had a hand before me.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't notice
That's
it.
okay.
Please.
I'm keeping
Yes.
track for you.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
This is so exciting to see you all, guys. I am unfortunately not personally acquainted with you, Narek, but I looked at the participant list. Some people I know. I would like to send greetings from snowing Stockholm.
Oh.
We are a few alumni here, and hey Karin, jättetrevligt att träffas. Yeah, I'm really excited about this opportunity. When I got this email, I was thinking, okay, now something is starting to happen in AUA, which is gonna be involving alumni a little bit more. We are not as many in Sweden as maybe in other countries, but I know that everyone who is alumni from AUA, we are involved somehow, financially, like in scholarships or whatever. I am not from technical field. I'm not from agricultural field. I'm more like a from this humanitarian, like humanities, and I work for Swedish government. And my question has always been, since I started to work there, okay, you know what? I work here as a, my background is HR. I have graduated from teaching English as a foreign language at AUA. I have no idea how I can be helpful to AUA with my knowledge from HR, with my knowledge from the Swedish Employment Service. So my question is basically, now maybe it is out of the topic because I heard you guys are talking about drones and agriculture and everything, but can we, because my aim was always to graduate from Master of Science or Arts in HR, and unfortunately there was only one topic within business master in AUA, and I never did that at AUA. But if I don't hold a PhD, I cannot teach something, but maybe I can be useful in seminars or share my experience from how this employment agency in Sweden works, because you know what, especially after this war and after this 3 years after the revolution, now I'm being a little bit emotional, but we have kind of lost hope to be cooperating with the government. Well, thank you very much, Anna. It's very, very, very nice to have this opportunity. So I don't know, maybe through AUA we can be useful, or I at least can be useful. All the other people that I know here who are alumni, they are either project managers, they mostly work in IT. So my question is, consider me, please. And there was a very good initiative that Narek would share, like what is happening at the centers. And I will try to do my best to go in and check if there is something that I can participate. But I think that AUA would be the only way for me to be useful. Yeah, so like Naine and Anahit, they know my background, and I'm trying to be cooperative as much as I can. So please don't only focus on drones and agriculture.
No, I can say, no, it was just examples. But of course, like tomorrow, we have actually a webinar that you might be interested in. It is the Swedish government gave some resources to Armenian government that we are actually taking responsibility. And many of you might know that AUA are actually taking a responsibility that is beyond AUA. So for higher education in the whole country, we are actually standing in to take a function that is outside of our own responsibility. And PDRF, as this program is called, is actually a program that the Swedish government is, Foreign Affairs is giving to Armenia, and the Armenian government is supposed to identify areas in the government that needs to be developed. And also that when they don't want to have any reports. You know, Swedish government said, we don't want you to do research that become reports in a shelf. No, we want the government of Armenia really to want this. So we need to have a liaison in the government that will reassure that this research is also taken care of internally. So that there are three programs going through that, and we have also some resources from a donor in California that adds to this in the same fashion. It's a webinar tomorrow. Maybe Narek, you could.
I shared the link. Yes,
I think he already did. Thank you very much.
Okay, so
I saw Suren also wrote something, so I will check later.
Yeah, so that is of course one, and then we also, as I said also before, that we just recently got a CEDA project, which is also
nice.
with civil society development, and we got an inception phase there for agreed, which can be a huge project running over 10 years if we're lucky. So, so that is not easy to get, and I think it's the first time that Armenia is getting such a grant. So they were looking at us from all different kinds of directions before they dared to give us something. So
yeah, they are picky. They are picky.
Very picky.
Yeah, CEDA is picky. Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
So I think that means that is also a way that alumni can, you know, from where you are, like you are in Stockholm, there's so many things that we are connecting to. We're connecting also to the Swedish Riksbanken with this central bank project, and also to the Business School of Stockholm. Which we have this collaboration in the same area. So I think it's I mean, in many I think that what Armenia needs to do to really kind of get and pick very the best. Of course, we should have the best connections all over the world. Why not? So that you can help if you have, as we heard before, if you have your network. And if we are in good contact, we can for sure find good also interaction with and you can be part of many things. I look forward to see you in many different connections.
Thank you very much. That's my bad then, that I have missed so many. The Stockholm Business School is like one of the best in, if I'm not mistaken, in Europe by rankings. So thank you very much. Then it was my bad. I haven't maybe followed the news that much. But yeah, I look forward to. I promise that I'm gonna like go through everything that you guys shared now.
I can say also, sorry to disrupt you there, but I can say, because it's good we have to say this, that this is we are in the beginning of building up this. So we are in a way in many connections that we are working. We are still in a silent phase. So of course we have more information that is that you can find out, and also, as we said, the web pages are not out, but we're working on in many ways that is not really launched yet.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah, but that's good to keep the contact.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you very much, Karin. Very, very nice to see you finally.
And maybe because I am in Sweden right now to get my vaccine.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Yes, but I have to be isolated before I get everything. So anyway, but I have I'm going to visit you know, our Armenian ambassador Alexander in Stockholm. So maybe when I do that, maybe we could be in contact, so I could see you guys at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah, that we can keep in touch after.
I would like to join that meeting also.
Perfect.
So send me the calendar invite.
Yeah.
But also, I think I take the opportunity now to say that we also plan to have a trip over to US and go over. We start east and go west in the late fall when we can for COVID. So we want to know where we should stop and have activities. So that input should go to Narek too, so that we can really have there. We would like to also to make people meet around the areas what we are working now, so we can have some interesting kind of seminars, discussions, and also some social activity and together with that.
That's right.
In California, I know 2 people who are alumni from industrial engineering. So I think that they are in your base. Anyway, thank you very much. I'm not going to talk more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Narek, we'll keep in touch. Yeah.
Thank you. I will send the connection, Arjan, to Dr. Markides via email so you guys could get connected. Awesome. So, very good. So it is approaching 8 o'clock. Arminjan, why don't you go ahead and ask your question also? I'm enjoying this conversation very much. So hopefully we can make this into, we do this more often with our alumni body. So yeah, go ahead, Arminjan. What's your question?
Yeah, it's not as much a question as a request. I'm kind of adding to what Aris was saying, that I know many alums, mostly from my generation. I'm in US, so I you know, these days we meet by Zoom. But I know that a lot of us really would like to be helpful and participating in things that are happening in Armenia. And for some of us, it's possible, you know, we have some former classmates who kind of returned or to Armenia. Many of us can't for various reasons, but we still want to participate. And generally, it's very hard to participate being, you know, not being in Armenia. Now, in our case, we have AUA. I mean, we are AUA alums. So many of us kind of are hoping that somehow AUA will help us with this in particular, that, you know, will be kind of the connecting part that will help us, you know, there will be something in Armenia and also lots of people outside with various expertise. Many of us have, you know, decades of expertise in our fields, right? Going back to PhD, I know, you know, people these days are doing all these Zoom meetings. There are a bunch of Zoom meetings where quote unquote scientists are meeting. I know like a list of about 200 people with PhDs, Armenians with PhDs in various fields, science, you know, economics, this, that are meeting in various Zoom meetings and trying to figure out what they can do. And unfortunately, a lot of that is just ends up being talking. We've been talking for 6 months now. I know at least half a dozen PhDs who are AUA alums, and they're teaching here in US. Specifically in finance, economics, because those are my fields. So I know there are a lot of people who can do things. They just don't know what to do and how to do it. And so maybe there's open centers of excellence and maybe some other things. I'm just saying, keep us in mind, not as a kind of add-on, as an appendix, as a maybe they will participate too kind of thing. But if you could, you know, when you're thinking about these initiatives, if you could kind of put alums closer to the center in terms of how much what they can contribute, because it's really true. Like Aris was saying, I know a lot of people, they all want to do something, and it's kind of frustrating because at the end of the day, beyond talk, not much we are doing.
But also, where are you based in the US?
I'm in New York.
So, okay, so we were supposed to be in New York a year ago, but remember, Narek, but we had to cancel that. But now we are, next time we plan, now we can do that. And then of course I hope that is something that would appeal to you and to some others, because if we come there and we can set up a nice seminar around areas that would, and then we can really also exchange possibilities, what we can do. And I think that, of course, to set up some chapters in US would make a lot of sense. Some alumni chapters that where we could have, you know, where there is cluster of interest that we could support more, also more directly and be more involved. So depends on what people want to do, but we are definitely listening. And we also want to keep the alumni not as something, as you said, on the side but really part of the proactive process, because that's I think it's also where you want to be part of. So I hope so. Looking forward to that.
That's right. We plan in being hopefully in November, early to mid-November. We plan to be in the East Coast, but more detail to follow. And Arminjan, you're gonna be our guy to reach out to kind of help us with all of this. Wonderful, dear friends. Thank you so much. Oh, we have Lucinda John. You have a question? Yeah, you had your hand up. No. Okay. Dear friend, yeah,
yes.
okay, yeah. Oh, please go ahead.
Can I just comment?
Please.
I'm a scientist. I work in Switzerland, and I just wanted to tell one example how I could not help but somehow contribute. There was this GITAC club, and I think something like that AUA could also launch for the AUA alumni, that we, for example, I got to know because of Facebook, and if I wouldn't have Facebook, probably I wouldn't know about that, but because there are so many different initiatives after the war, and I wrote a project proposal, and I got a brilliant student from AUA, and we are working like regularly for her project. But this is just like, okay, I helped one student and with my knowledge, but it's not so systematic. Like if probably it's good that there is a platform from AUA side also, where scientists could also similarly writing not proposals, like descriptions of projects, and then the students could not only students but their supervisors, because I would be happily contributing with knowledge or with whatever we have learned as in our journey to become scientists.
That is wonderful, Lucien, because this is also something we didn't mention, but we are actually working quite intensive on. We call it Faculty Development Hub, because this is something that our faculty that needs to also to be good teachers and to develop as such, also and also of course their research. They ask us to help them to really find how to do that, because they haven't been really involved before. So I think here you can the ones of you that are in science, so forth, that you can help definitely. So we have to figure out. So we also make you aware of how to get involved there. In these discussions.
Sure. And if I may comment about Lucinda, my presentation didn't work, but I shared it. But we are in the process of also launching our student mentorship program, Alumni Student Mentorship Program, which we hope to launch with our new alumni website also within the upcoming few months. So it is a very professionally built platform where you will be able to become a mentor also to some of our students in your field, also, and students that are interested in that same field. So please stay tuned for that also. So within the next couple of months before the summer starts, we will launch our mentorship program with our students also.
Oh, I have talked more about that with you, Narek, because I'm not really aware of all the ins and outs of that. But of course, I know that from my old work that, to have early for freshmen, when they come for the first year, if they can have an alum as a mentor, just to to really get to talk about higher education, that is something that can be very useful for the freshmen. And now especially it would have been very good to have that now when the freshmen cannot come to campus and they cannot really engage in the campus life. So I think it's so important that we find to support there, and you could help so much in that. So, well, thank you for your interest.
Perfect. Alrighty, friends. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Would like to take the opportunity to also mention that we are planning for another alumni reunion in October in person, given if everything goes well in Armenia. So if you are in Armenia or you will be in Armenia, we're hoping to announce our alumni homecoming week sometime in October. So we are working on that also. As always, stay connected with us, follow our emails. We hope to do these types of conversations more often. All notes were taken. We'll hopefully follow up with you guys also very shortly. So thanks again for joining us. Have a wonderful evening for those of us that are in Yerevan. For the rest of you, have a good day or whatnot. Thanks again for joining us. And Dr. Markides, Dr. Ellison, thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.